I safely say I speak for the entire city when I say, holy crap!
Igor.
That's what you say.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're an Islander.
No. That was... But I'm a lover of sports. Last night was an incredible night at Madison Square Garden. The New York Rangers, a team I genuinely think will win the whole damn thing. More on that as the show rolls on. They are halfway through the Carolina Hurricanes. But can we begin with something that affected 99% of us? Now, luckily, it did not affect the loyal Ranger fan that was inside the Mecca last night at Madison Square Garden watching a classic double overtime New York Ranger victory as Vinny Trocheck wins it. But with 45 seconds to go in the third period with the Rangers on a power play, can we all have a discussion about this? Because I was live. I'm a big DVR guy, but not last night. I'm sitting there in my Barco lounger. I've got my tablet on top of my lap, and I got the Ranger game on, and I'm DVRing the Mets. I'm putting the Mets to the side. I'll get to the Mets later. I'm sorry, I got playoff hockey going on right now. And with 45 seconds to go, and the Rangers on a power play, all of a sudden, it flips to the beginning of the Avalanche game. Now, I can only speak for myself on how I reacted. I'm sure I represent a lot of New Yorkers when I say, and I got a bad back, I jumped out of my seat, ran to find the remote control, and said, what happened? WTF? What has happened? My wife even noticed and said, are you okay? I haven't seen you move that fast in a while. And I said, what's going on? So I'm taking the remote, I'm fumbling it. As I'm about to hit the button, the game goes back on. And I'm like disheveled. I see it's still tied. I see the Rangers are still on a power play. So I'm like, okay, I didn't miss anything. But what the hell was that?
They dodged a major bullet.
You think?
A major bullet. Because it felt like everything was coming on the power play, including the game winner in double overtime. Everything was on the power play.
So what you're trying to say is when the Rangers play at even strength, they're not as good as the Carolina Hurricanes, but when they have the man advantage, that's when they really win and take advantage of this series?
Possibly against a really good team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who almost took the President's Trophy from them. But I'm just saying.
That was a good hockey point.
It's a well-matched matchup, for not to be redundant, but still.
Yeah.
They are so lucky. So lucky.
We're talking about ESPN, not the Rangers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, not the Rangers. So lucky.
Yes.
That a goal wasn't scored on the power play.
Could you imagine?
With 10 seconds left in the game. Can you imagine if that would happen?
I cannot.
Somebody, I don't know if somebody's getting fired over this because it was, hey, no harm, no foul. You didn't miss anything. You got 2 extra periods of joy and entertainment and ultimately a game winner by the home team. But they are so lucky because people would have been in an uproar. Now, in an arena, you don't care. You don't mind.
No one who was at the Garden last night heard about this until someone told them after. This didn't affect
until
you
Twitter
people.
Told them.
Right.
When they go on social media and their phones are blowing up because everybody's saying exactly what you said. WTF.
Dude. I understand. You listen to me. I'm a Ranger hater. I'm not even a diehard fan, but I care. And with 45 seconds to go in a tie game in the postseason, I care. I care enough where the Mets are on DVR. I care enough where even with a bad back, I'm freaking the hell out because my first reaction was, is it me? Is it my own cable provider? Like I'm using DirecTV Stream. Did something go wrong with my stream? That's my first reaction. But then in the next split second, I'm like, I've got to flip it because ESPN had a graphic saying, hey, if you want to see the beginning of this Colorado game, it's going to be on ESPNU. I got to tell you, I don't even know where the hell ESPNU is. So in the next second, when I saw them go to the Colorado game, I'm thinking, did they literally flip the Rangers to ESPNU? And if you did, can you at least do it during a commercial break where you give us a warning or during the intermission? You can't do it with 44 seconds to go and the Rangers on a power play. So my brain was completely fried. And then, as Carolina, to their credit, killed off that penalty, or at least that part of the penalty, and send this thing to overtime, I'm still disheveled because I couldn't even enjoy it. I'm more like, what the hell just happened? So for most people who were not at the game last night, I would assume you had the same reaction. I would assume you were freaking out. I can't imagine you were just sitting there calmly thinking to yourself, oh, all right, here's the beginning of the Colorado Avalanche game. There's 45 seconds to go. And the other thing that confused me, Teak, is that because I'm DVRing the Mets, and there are rules to this, I can't check social media. So when
got it.
So I'm still
yes, because you would have found out that it was a close game that you were missing.
Can't have that happen.
Exactly.
So I'm still thinking, was it me? Like the entire night as it went on, I'm thinking.
Meaning you as in what? Like you accidentally changed the channel?
No.
Or you missed the alert or whatever ESPN should have told you that this continuation of the game will go on somewhere else.
No, that my service just screwed up. And it was I thought this was an Evan problem and that I'll mention it for 2 seconds on the radio tomorrow. No one else was affected by it. I later find out after I finished that Met game, great victory, by the way. Nice job by my boys. Brandon Nimmo, what up? Hello, Pete Alonso. Just talking about cutting my beard got you hot. I appreciate that.
Well, that means you don't have to cut yours.
That's not true, but more on that later. I then realized it was a worldwide problem. But we were this close, Ranger fans, this close to seeing the biggest sports media debacle since Heidi. And Heidi's just like a story our parents tell us. Honestly, that's a story my mom tells me. And you want to know why? My mom loved Heidi.
Yeah.
She tells me the other side of the story, which is I was so excited Heidi was coming on. They got that stupid game with the leather ball off. My dad tells me another story.
Right.
My mom tells me that story. That could have been our moment with 45 seconds to go in regulation.
Well, unfortunately, there's no excuse because for the Heidi game, it was just programming. Like the time ran out.
Right.
It was probably automated in some ways, not some person making a decision. I need to hit this button and flip to Heidi. That's what happened last night, though.
Yeah.
Somebody messed up. Somebody seriously messed up
No
and
doubt.
flipped the game prematurely.
Now, here's the good news. We got to see the first overtime. We got to see the second overtime. And the New York Rangers are halfway to beating Carolina. A couple of things. Number one, this series is not over. I say that out of great respect for the Carolina Hurricanes. I say that because 2 years ago when the Rangers and Canes played in the second round of the postseason, as you recall, it was a very home-filled series. Remember, the home team won every game until we got to Game 7 where the Rangers went down to Raleigh and won Game 7. So I am by no means declaring this series over. But what I am telling you, and I said this 2 days ago to Sean Tiki, and I'll say it to you, is that I watched this team play, and there are so many signs that are right in your face that this team is special and they're going to win the Stanley Cup. And here are the signs from last night. Now, I gave them from Game 1, the way they won faceoffs in the final few minutes, the resilience that they showed, hold on and beat Carolina. But what they showed last night was this. Number one, their special teams is ridiculous. They have killed off every single Carolina penalty their penalty that they have faced. Every time they have needed to kill off a Carolina power play. And by the way, the Canes were number one all year with the man advantage. The Rangers are now a perfect 10 for 10. They've also taken advantage of their opportunities, scoring multiple power play goals last night. But here's the real thing that jumped out at me last night. At the end of the first period, the New York Rangers were given a kick to the you-know-what when Orlov scored with 7 seconds to go that made a 1-1 game a 2-1 game. That's a kick in the you-know-what. 7 seconds to go, and Carolina takes a lead into intermission. And then you saw the same thing at the end of the second period when Jake Gensel scored with 1:12 to go to put them up 3-2. The New York Rangers, I know they haven't lost a game yet, but the New York Rangers last night, for the first time in this postseason, they got punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
They got kicked in the you-know-what. And they responded each and every time. They have shown resilience. They have been murder on special teams. And here's the other thing, and you led with it. Right now, Igor Shesterkin is playing at a Henrikian-like level. And I mean that as a compliment.
I know.
He has been standing on his head. He made how many saves last night? 54 saves? He was incredible last night. So you've got a hot goaltender. You've got a team that's been awesome on the kill, awesome with the man advantage. You've got a team that's showing resilience. And you know what else? And don't take offense to this. You're getting some puck luck. And that's important. And that's why right now, while this series isn't over, I still think that we're going to be sitting here in a month and a half talking about this team winning a Stanley Cup. Everything about this team makes me think they're going to win a Stanley Cup.
Now, why are you jinxing them?
I'm not to stop with that crap.
Why are you putting it ahead of yourself?
I'm giving you a sports opinion.
The most important thing they need to do is win one game in Carolina. That's what matters right now. But you're right about Igor, and you're right about the resiliency of this team. It's interesting because it might be just something in the garden right now because it feels like how the Knicks are. They don't panic when things go wrong. They don't panic, the Knicks, and when they're down by 9 or 10. The Rangers, they get down by a goal, and Getzel's goal comes because he's skating onto the ice. Nobody checks him, and he gets from Aho, I think, comes across, and it's a wide open shot. But that could derail you. It doesn't derail this team. It's kind of like the Knicks in a way. Nothing derails them. Nothing derails the Rangers. And so when things go bad, it doesn't matter. They just keep pushing forward and ultimately find a way to get a power play and then ultimately score a goal on those power plays.
It is not about jinxing or looking ahead. It's about being honest. I look at this hockey team and I see a team that can win a Stanley Cup. I think most Ranger fans see that. And there's little things, like little things that aren't even related to sports. Like I'll give you a really tiny little thing that jumped out at me last night. So after ESPN tries to screw us and cause all of us to have heart attacks with 45 seconds to go in regulation, you know what else they did in overtime? You know what else these sons of bitches did on overtime?
No.
You want to talk about jinxing? Don't look at me about jinxing. Why don't you look at ESPN? There was a regular old shot on goal on Igor Shesterkin, and a graphic popped up on the boards that said Hurricanes win. That's ESPN. That's not me.
I missed that.
And I saw that graphic, and you know what I said to myself? Because everybody was sleeping at this point. I said to myself, this game's over. The Rangers are definitely winning this game. There is no doubt in my mind. That is karma perfection right there.
Maybe they did it to jinx the Hurricanes.
Oh, is that what you think it is?
I mean, maybe. Seriously, why? I mean, why else would that? Dude, somebody had a quick trigger over there.
Yes, they
Like,
did.
whoever was in charge of graphics or programming had a real quick trigger last night.
They had it, man.
They were just trying to get them off the screen so they get to the other game that night.
Look, I've seen a lot of Ranger deep runs over the years, a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them with Henrik Lundqvist, who I always defended on this radio station because I thought at times he was disrespected by his own fans. Look at what this man accomplished in Game 7s. This Ranger team, this one right now, in this moment, and again, I've been on the radio for a lot of Ranger runs. The conference finals against New Jersey, the run to the Cup finals in 2014 where they lost a hard-fought series to the Kings. I've seen it all. Tiki, I swear to you, I've never once thought they were going to win the Stanley Cup. Not once. Not one time. This team is different because this team is that good. And Igor Shesterkin, to his credit, and I want to tell you a little brief story about Igor Shesterkin. I don't count the pandemic. That's just me. I don't count it. I look at that little playoff series that the Rangers were in 2020, and I say it didn't really happen. I'm not saying the playoffs didn't happen. The Islanders did get to the conference finals, but that first round, that abbreviated 5-game series, wasn't even real. And that's where he played his first postseason game. Did it with no fans in the stands. You know what his first real postseason game was? It was against the Pittsburgh Penguins, a game that went triple overtime, and he made 79 saves. That is not a misprint. He made 79 saves.
Wow.
Rangers lost that game that night. They won the series because Jacob Trouba was dirty and knocked out, who did he knock out? Was it Sidney Crosby?
Hey, man.
Knocked somebody out.
It's hockey. You know how you always have that? Oh, it's baseball.
Yeah.
It's hockey.
Oh, so
sometimes
it's okay to injure
sometimes you get knocked the blank out. It just is what it is.
But I think Igor showed you on that night, despite some of the struggles he had, like earlier this year, the regular season struggles, that he's got it, man. He makes 79 saves in a playoff game in lieu to going on a run to the conference finals. This is a Ranger team that's been battle-tested. This is a team that faced the ultimate disappointment in losing to New Jersey a year ago. It was embarrassing how they lost that series. Let's have real talk. But sometimes that embarrassment is how you get further. So I look at last night just the same way I looked at Game 1, and I see a damn good hockey team that I think is going to win the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, it teaches you to get urgent. When you get embarrassed like the Rangers did a year ago, you get urgent because you realize the opportunities aren't going to come very often. And whether that's driving them or whether they're just this good, they have an urgency about them. And you see it in how they play. You see it in how they get physical, even without Rimpey out on the ice, except for 4 minutes last night. Right? This team has every piece that you need, and that's a good thing.
They do. Now, can I rip them for a second? Is that okay? Can we again, honest conversation?
Can you wait till, like, someone calls and rips them first?
No, I'm going to do it.
Why you got to be first?
Because Jacob Trouba, what he pulled last night was horse bleep. That's why. Because he tried to take out this Martin Navich by trying to spear him with his elbow out. And to Navich's credit, he got out of the way like I was watching Raw. Like it was a It was like, here's what it was like, all right? It's a wrestling reference. Roman Reigns is about to spear Cody Rhodes, and Cody moves, and Roman spears himself into the turnbuckle.
Maybe they had an understanding.
Is that what it was?
Maybe it was in the script somewhere.
So Jacob Trouba, who, by the way, and Ranger fans will be with me on this, he's also committing way too many penalties right now. So I think the Ranger fan could even look at Captain Trouba and say, look, he's not dirty, you make too much of that, but boy, can you stop committing dumb penalties. Jacob Trouba tried to spear someone in the head. And if my interpretation of the NHL rules are correct, it's about intent. And clearly there was an intent there, which means he should have been thrown out of the game.
No, you got to at least make contact.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
Do you? That's not what the rules say, man.
I mean, you can intend to swing at somebody, but you miss. Are you still penalized?
Yes. You can't try to swing at somebody and try to punch him.
I don't think so, man.
Ask a Knick player to try to do that tonight and see what happens.
It's basketball. It's a different sport.
No, but the rules of the NHL
They allow it in the NHL.
No, they do not allow the intent to injure. And what Jacob Trouba did last night was intent to injure.
Or just check.
I'm sorry, that's just what it was.
Or just check.
No. He speared a guy and stuck his elbow out. I mean, that's what happened last night.
Did he make contact?
No, because Navich got out of the way.
Did he make contact?
No, he made contact with himself.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. I forget. Did he make contact?
Yes, he made contact with the boards.
Exactly. Not a hurricane. So chill out.
Intent. It's all about intent.
No, it's not.
And look, maybe the Rangers could use it because Trouba's committing way too many penalties right now anyway. Look, the dangerous thing is this.
What is this? Attempt to commit a foul?
Yeah.
Attempt to commit damage?
You can read the NHL rulebook and tell me I'm wrong here. I'm telling you, I think that is worthy of being ejected.
He turned himself into a human missile. Now he has bad aim, but he should still be penalized for that. He launched himself. Yeah, he's got crappy aim, but he launched himself. Now, by the way, I thought he was basically paralyzed.
I thought he was hurt.
The fact that he got up was amazing.
Well,
now, I know hockey players.
Dude, he had to get up.
Teak.
He had to get up.
Did you see how hard he took
launched his head into concrete, basically.
He had to get up. And you know why?
Why?
Because he'll never live it down if he didn't. Because remember who did that for the Commanders, then Redskins? Who did that?
Oh, Gus Frerotte? Was it Frerotte?
Was it Frerotte or was it? It was one of those quarterbacks who banged his head.
Right.
And he was done for the game. Like, you don't live that down. I don't remember who it was, but whenever I see that image, I'm just like, dude, what an idiot.
Yeah.
He had to get up. He had to get up and be okay.
Well, he got up.
Otherwise, you never live it down.
Yeah, that was something else, man. Like, if you watch that clip out of context, it will make you laugh. I mean, you watch it in context, it's in the middle of a hockey game. But Jacob Trouba basically launches himself like he's Jimmy Superfly Snuka. He sticks out his elbow, and he misses the guy and lands into the boards and almost knocks himself out cold. It was unbelievable. But Ranger fans, you should be giddy. You are halfway to the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll get your calls next, 877-337-6666. Plus, how did Ranger diehard fan Sean Morash react while at Disneyland watching this incredible game? And I take you back to last night's radio broadcast to a moment that had me cracking up over and over again. We'll play it for you. We'll hear from you. Ranger fans, stand up, baby. You're on your way. 6 for 6 in this postseason. We are live from the Town Fair Tire Studios.